Hello YouTube, it's DOS Playthrough here, and I'll be showing you how to install Dosbox and run DOS era games. Now, before we do anything, you're going to have to download Dosbox and Daemon Tools. So both of these links are in my description, so please pause the video right now and download and install these programs, as they will be needed in the future. So after you install these programs, we actually are not going to even touch them for the moment. Just make sure you completely install them and configure them. We're actually, first of all, hopefully by now you already have your DOS game that you're thinking of using. So we're just going to go to that folder real quick. So there's something you need to notice that is with the DOS game. For this entire tutorial, I'll be using the DOS game I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. So now when I downloaded this game, it came in with only 2 files. Yours may be different. It came with nomouth.q, a CD file, and nomouth.bin file, which has all the actual information. Now, yours may have came with a bunch of installed and exe files. If it did, you can disregard this portion of the video, but it is highly recommended that you don't, so that you know how to unmount and mount these programs in case you come around it files like this. So basically what the Q file is just a CD. So we can't really put this on a CD. This is a virtual CD. We use a program called Daemon Tools. Daemon Tools creates a virtual CD drive within your computer, making so that you can mount virtual CDs. So you're gonna, first of all, after you install and configure Daemon and make your virtual drive, you can click Add Image, go to the folder where your C image file is, and double click it. And it will now be in this list right here. You're gonna one click on this, and you're gonna click what looks like a start button, but it's the mount button. It's gonna say mounting image, and then there. Now my computer thinks that I have a physical CD inside a virtual drive. So we're gonna open this up. And this is what we're looking for. This is the files that are very important. So if you were to get the actual install CD, this is what would be in it. So we need these files, they're very important. Now, we can't actually use the files straight out of CD. We have to copy and paste them in a subfolder. The problem is usually with these files is they're read-only, and they cannot be changed. Now, I'll explain later in the video, but it is absolutely necessary that these cannot be read-only, for it won't work if they are. So we're going to copy all these files, and then we're going to make our directory. Now, since you being new to this, I suggest that you go to your C drive, your main drive, and simply within your C drive just make a new folder called DOS prog, which is short for DOS programs. You gotta double click that and make another folder called games. This is just how I like to store things. And then since I'm making the game I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, I'm just gonna name this folder Scream. And I'm gonna paste all this. Just gonna paste. It's only gonna take a couple seconds for me. Yeah, so this is why we need to copy and paste, because now if you notice, now the files are not read-only, which is absolutely essential. So now that we have everything the way we want it, we can actually get to the portion where Dosbox is used. We're going to open up Dosbox, and we're going to get this kind of setup screen. Now, it's recommended that you pause this video and look through all the intro files by typing in intro, especially intro mount. So, it's highly recommended that you look at these commands. So it'll just give you a better understanding how this actually kind of works. So if you had done that right now, we're gonna have to now mount. It's called mounting the a virtual drive within our C drive. Now, what Dosbox does is it emulates the operating system used in DOS games. Since it was way back then in the mid '90s, it's fairly simple and it doesn't require a lot of hardware to run these operating systems, so they can make emulators run. Now, this works in a very similar to how daemon tools work, as it makes the computer think that there's a physical drive within the computer, when this is only simply making a this is just simply making a virtual drive within our computer. So we're going to make this virtual drive, which is how I'll run all the programs, by typing mount. Now, next we had to put in the drive letter. It's highly recommended that you always just put in C, as it makes everything simpler. So then we're gonna type after this the directory where our folders are located. Now, we can get to this directory in a couple of ways. You can type in, so for instance, if I wanted to do it the long way, since it's only very short, I would just type that in exactly. So it's C/DOSprog games scream. So now it's mounted. Now, to access this virtual drive we had just created, we must type the drive letter in the semicolon. And now we are in our virtual C drive. Now, to prove that I'm in this folder, I'm going to type in the command dir, and this will show everything in the folder I'm in. And there we go. This is all the files I'm in. Now, there's a couple ways to actually get to these files and to these folders. Now, what I did was a simpler way because I only had to type in a few folders. But let's say that your drive, is complex and getting there is not very easy. So we can use a couple commands. So I'm simply going to mount the C drive to Dosprog. Now if I type in dir, oops, sorry, I gotta type in C. If I type in dir, it only shows the file games, which it should, because I'm in this folder right now. Now you're wondering, well, how do I navigate folders within Dosbox? It's very simple. You simply type the command cd and then the name of the folder you want to navigate to. In this case, it's games. To prove that, I'm in the games folder, I'll then type dir in again, and now it shows that there's a folder called Scream in there, which is correct. So I'll type cd scream. So to prove I'm in the Scream folder, I'll type dir once more, and there we go. The same files, just two different ways to get to them. So by now you should be in this folder, and now we can actually get to installing the game. It's very simple to invoke the commands to run these files. Your Dosbox can only run .exe, .com, and .bat files. So you're gonna find the file that's pretty much .exe. For this case, it's very obvious, install exe, because we have to install the game. It's obvious that we have to use that file. So in order to use the file, you just type in the file name, which is install for me. Okay, now we're in the install. Now we're in the options. Now we're gonna click install game, C drive. Now, see, the thing is, this can confuse people a little bit. It did confuse me the first time I saw this. Now, when it says target drive C Scream, you would think, well, it's gonna create a folder called Scream, all uppercase letters, in here. It's not gonna do that. What it's actually gonna do is, since it's thinking this is the main C drive, it's actually going to create the folder in here. So don't worry, it's not going to put in your main C drive. So click enter. Yes, I want to continue. And this is why it became this is why all the files need to be on the read only. This is why they had to be accessible by any program. See right there. Copying file scream.res. It says it right there. If it was read only, it would not be able to copy and paste these files in this correct directory. Which is why they absolutely have to be non-read only. So it's gonna do everything. So now we have to set up the MIDI music driver and the digital audio driver. Both are very important. If you want to hear any of the music and hear any people speak, they're very important. So for me, for my MIDI driver, I just simply use, it may be different for you, depending on what you have, but I just use Creative Labs, Sound Blaster, 100% compatible. And then, so it obviously found my hardware. So I'm just gonna click, yeah, accept this. Attempt to configure sound driver automatically, and it did. So now I'm gonna do the audio driver. And again, I just use the Sound Blaster, 100% compatible. And there we go. So we're done with that. We're gonna click done. Installation complete. Remember, you gotta keep clicking enter to navigate through this. So quit installation, and now before you press enter for this, you're gonna see what it's gonna tell you to type in order to play the game. So say to play game, type scream at DOS prompt. So I'm in the scream folder, so I am simply going to type in scream. And there we go. So I'm gonna skip all this. Now I don't know if you can hear this. I don't know if you can hear this right now, but it is playing music, and I can hear everything that happens, and I'm actively playing the game. So yeah, just stop that. So that's how you delete this. That's how you don't delete these files. I'm just going to get rid of them because I have it already set up somewhere else. So that's how you use Dosbox. And if you have any questions on how to install games or use all the files and programs that we used, please let me know. If you want me to set up a custom tutorial on how to install a single game, I will be happy to do that. But until then, I hope this tutorial helped you very much, and goodbye.